In February this year, I got to experience the engineering genius of New Zealand's own Trevor Jackson up close and personal when I rode his backyard roller coaster. Backyard roller coasters have always been an area of interest to me, mainly because of the mystery that surrounds them. Since they're the personal passion projects of roller coaster enthusiasts, and not all of them are keen and willing to open their doors to the general public, these roller coasters might have short lifespans, strange or quirky designs, or be very rare credits only ever experienced by a select few. But there are some backyard roller coasters that stand out above the rest, and I'm not just talking about the one in New Zealand. Today, we're going to count down 10 of the best roller coasters ever constructed on private property. These are the world's top 10 backyard roller coasters. Number 10. The Termite. The Termite might be considered the grandfather of backyard roller coasters. Constructed in 1989 by coaster enthusiast Kim Peterson, this wooden construction was even featured in its own TV segment on National Geographic. Kim constructed his coaster using his own expertise as an enthusiast and from his own observations from visiting theme parks and watching real roller coasters. And his final construction was a beauty, featuring a massive first drop off the roof of his house. What makes this most impressive is that at the time of its construction, the Termite was a pioneer for roller coasters in general. According to the observations of YouTube user Snow Ghost Films, the Termite would have been the second steepest roller coaster in the world at the time of its completion, behind only the famous Coney Island Cyclone. The little zigzag elements are very creative, but I think the ride experience would have been all about that diving drop off the roof, which looks absolutely insane. I can't imagine what that airtime would have been like. Number 9. Whiplash. Whiplash is a wooden backyard coaster, 400 feet long with a top speed of 24 kilometers an hour, and this is a wooden coaster that features a lot of very intelligent engineering, including anti-rollbacks and a very impressive station building. Built over the course of 3 years, the process was documented in its own YouTube channel and somehow has not gotten anywhere near the attention it deserves. Its first drop and airtime hills look particularly good to ride, and it has an impressively long layout for something built in the backyard. 3 years of construction is such an incredible feat, and it looks like the finished product was absolutely worth the effort. Number 8. The Backyard Launch Coaster. This coaster might not have the most impressive layout on this list, and it also has an amount of structural sway that would make me very concerned to ride, but there is one thing that plants it firmly on this top 10 list: that launch. Featuring a compressed air launch that exerts a supposed 4.2 Gs on riders and exerts almost 550 kilograms of thrust, this ride is an absolute engineering feat. Constructed in the UK, this launch exerts more force than the launch on an Intamin hydraulic coaster. The testing process was documented on the YouTube channel Will from London, and it looks absolutely incredible, although the test rider does look terrified. I can't blame him. I bet it would be nerve-wracking to take on such a sudden and powerful launch and not be sure if it's even going to work, or if it might even end in some sort of injury. Number 7. Shadow Stalker. Famously documented by some very high-profile channels including El Toro Ryan and Coaster Force, this backyard coaster might have the best construction quality of any of the coasters on this list. Just look at that wooden track. You'd probably believe it if I said it was built by an engineer from GCI or the Gravity Group. Built in New Jersey by the geniuses behind the YouTube and Instagram page Built to Thrill, this is a very professionally constructed shuttle coaster with an off-axis airtime moment and a layout that looks like it provides some nice force. It would have been nice to see Built to Thrill take on a more complete layout, but we might be in luck if we can wait just a little longer. After Shadow Stalker was unfortunately forced to be closed down by the local government of the city of East Brunswick, the creators have started construction on a new coaster, Expedition Equinox. This is a new and improved version of Shadow Stalker, even coming with a very impressive two-person train design. Number 6. Oklahoma Land Run. The Oklahoma Land Run might be the first coaster to come up when you Google backyard roller coasters. With a train inspired by PTC and an incredible layout that includes genuine airtime hills, a bank turnaround, and some nice terrain play, this coaster looks smooth, forceful, and fun. It was built by Jeremy Reed, the man behind the YouTube channel Roller Coaster Engineer, and I certainly think that channel title is definitely deserved. Jeremy built his first backyard roller coaster in 1997 and has continually improved upon his design, gradually building a complete layout and a chain lift hill. By 2008, the coaster was operating with a completely refurbished train, a full layout, and a lot of online fans. This coaster looks like it was designed by an enthusiast who knew exactly what he wanted from his coaster and knew exactly how to get it. The use of the terrain, it's just genius. Number 5. Blue Flash. We all know about Blue Flash. Famously the first backyard roller coaster to feature an inversion, it was fabricated in southern Indiana by John Ivers, standing 20 feet tall and diving into a loop screw style element that looks just absolutely insane. While Blue Flash's layout may not be the most impressive on this list, the fabrication is definitely impressive, and there's no denying it's probably the most famous backyard roller coaster of all time. John Ivers worked constructing grain elevators and managed to get enough scrap and new material to build the coaster in his spare time. Unfortunately, it no longer operates. John was going to remove both his backyard coasters, Blue Flash and Blue 2, and they were originally set to be relocated to an attraction called the Haunted Hoochie in Ohio. Blue 2 was able to be relocated as it was built in sections that could be bolted together, but the process was much more difficult for Blue Flash. In the end, it appears that the difficulties of the relocation process were too much for both coasters, and they have never opened at their new home. Number 4. Jacko's coaster. The coaster on this list that I've been fortunate enough to ride certainly deserves a place in the top 5. Built by New Zealand-based truck and trailer engineer Trevor Jackson, this huge creation features the most insane drops and the most professional building standards I've ever seen from a backyard coaster. With proper steel fabricated track, a transfer track mechanism, friction brakes, anti-rollbacks, and safety mechanisms that would live up to theme park standards, Jacko's coaster is one of the most thoroughly impressive pieces of engineering I've ever had the pleasure of witnessing. Capable of carrying 4 riders at a time, the ride starts off with possibly the most forceful first drop I've ever experienced, chock full of ejector airtime with this ridiculous 80-degree angle. This coaster is quite simply bonkers, and its location is excellent as well, with tremendous views from the top of the 10-meter lift hill. Number 3. Alpine Escape. A lot of us had a project that kept us going through the pandemic, but one family took that to the next level when they built Matterhorn Alpine Escape, a huge backyard coaster inspired by Disney's Matterhorn bobsleds constructed in Napa Valley, California. Possibly the most elaborately detailed backyard coaster ever built, it features a huge mountain facade. Featuring water effects and diving transitions through tunnels and caves in the fake mountain, this looks like a smaller scale version of something you'd expect to find at a proper Disney theme park. It's absolutely incredible. This family clearly weren't going to settle for your average backyard coaster. Possibly no backyard coaster in history has ever paid so much attention to presentation and detail, and I absolutely love it for that. It is worthy of a place in the top 3. Number 2. Speed Cult. Whoever built this contraption is an absolute madman. Featured on National Geographic's TV series Mad Scientists, this wild machine is similar to the ride experience you'd get from an SNS 4D free spin or an Arrow 4th Dimension coaster, yet somehow even more insane. With a U-shuttle layout, it flips its 2 riders freely as the train rocks back and forth, and it looks utterly ridiculous. This might be the most intense ride ever constructed on private property, and it's no wonder the owners refer to it as an abusement park. This coaster is also incredibly well presented. The team behind Speed Cult had a party at their abusement park with fire effects, music, and tiki theming, and it looks very impressive. Number 1. Little Thunder. From the creators of Alpine Escape comes their second project, Little Thunder. Premiering on their YouTube channel in 2021, a year after the Matterhorn project, this Big Thunder Mountain-inspired coaster took it up a notch with an actual animatronic, both a chain lift and a launch, smoke effects, and an awesome Wild West facade. If Alpine Escape was the most impressive backyard coaster ever built in terms of presentation, the Magic Texture team pulled no punches with their second project, taking everything up a notch and producing what, in my opinion, is the greatest backyard ride ever constructed. All I can say is take a look at this awesome presentation, and then I'm definitely looking forward to when they try to tackle a Space Mountain recreation. Let me know in the comments below what your favorite backyard roller coaster is. While you're there, please consider clicking the like button to help out against the YouTube algorithm, and the subscribe button and the bell icon to be notified when I next upload. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.